In the days of King Arthur's court, when knighthood was in flower, the well-dressed dragon slayer wore heavy armor for defense against his foes. So did his well-dressed horse. This dragon slayer is a jet fighter pilot. His G-suit of modern synthetic materials counteracts acceleration forces that might otherwise crush him into oblivion. Special purpose clothing for scuba divers lets them invade the chilly depths of the sea. The invasion of space, too, has brought about the development of very special types of wearing apparel. Functional clothing for astronauts and spacemen enables them to survive in the near vacuum of empty space. In fact, if properly dressed for the occasion, we could go for a stroll on the moon or work and be comfortable on other planets. All through history, men have made and worn many kinds of clothing to serve many purposes. Beyond mere modesty, ornamentation, and protection from weather, our clothing helps identify us. And whether relaxing, working, or going to school, one thing we can be sure of is that the way we dress tells other people what we think of ourselves and how we want them to think of us. And as members of a student body, our standards of dress and good grooming let others know what we want them to think of the school we attend. With all the fast pace and informality of student life today, there seems to be a definite relationship between being well-groomed, being popular, and being successful in school, and vice versa. Students themselves have seen how even a slight improvement in the overall standards of appropriate dress on their campus has done something for school spirit and has given their school a better reputation. When students themselves set up standards, the basic objective is not to lay down rules for others to follow, but to make suggestions that will help overcome the tendency of a few to create bad impressions that harm the reputation and the welfare of the many. Campus leaders and athletes are showing others how easy it is to meet the simple standards of dress that will hold the respect of their classmates, their teachers, and their community. In almost any school, the truly popular students today are the ones with the well-mannered look, who set examples of good taste that others are glad to follow. Once you decide on the kind of picture of yourself you want your friends to have, choosing a wardrobe for school is a matter of wearing the right things in the right place at the right time. And that is what the well-mannered look is all about. Clothes that might be perfect for riding a motorcycle, vacationing on a dude ranch, or getting in shape for a track meet just don't seem to belong in a classroom. Fads, gimmicks, and extreme styles seem out of place where people are trying to get an education to fit them for life as adults. On the other hand, in clothes that are right for your school, you're apt to feel less like wasting your time and more like making the most of it. They'll help you look the way you really want to look to your friends and classmates. What's more, today's styles are not only easy to wear, they stay looking better longer with less trouble. It hasn't always been this way. Back in the days when grandfather and grandmother were young, it was a chore just to get dressed for school. Ankle-length shoes, heavy black cotton hose, starched shirtwaists, garters, galluses, stiff white collars were uncomfortable to wear and hard to care for. In grandfather's time, such expressions as wrinkle resistance or press retention were unknown. Collars would wilt, suits would rumple and sag. Even grandmother found it almost impossible to stay looking her best throughout the course of the day. There was no such thing as easy care, and every wash day proved it. There was no such thing as wash and wear, so every ironing day was a nightmare. There was no such thing as a permanent pleat, so it often took hours of toil to get a blouse or skirt ready to wear. Yes, the years have made a lot of difference in the clothes we wear. To understand the reason for the differences and to know how to take advantage of them in planning our wardrobes, we need to know a few facts about the fabrics from which our clothing is made. All fabrics begin with yarn or thread, and there are two principal methods by which yarns are made into fabrics. Knitting produces fabrics which are composed of series of loops. In weaving, the threads pass over and under each other at right angles. In addition to hand knitting, there are many types of machine knitting. Knitted materials are usually elastic and have a tendency to resist wrinkles. There are also variations in weaving which affect the characteristics of the fabric. For example, the pattern in which threads weave over and under each other can be varied. Here is a plain weave and a twill weave. Another variation, the satin weave, has smooth and shiny appearance because the face of the fabric is made up almost entirely of threads running in one direction. Both knitted and woven fabrics can be made in a wide variety of textures, weights, and degrees of sheerness, according to the thickness and density of the yarn, the closeness of the mesh or weave, and the type of fabric construction. Likewise, to the touch, they may be soft, harsh, smooth, rough, pliable, or crisp. Often these qualities, called the hand of the fabric, are due to the way the material has been treated after manufacture. Other finishing treatments repel water or resist stains. But what about the most important factor of all, the yarn from which a fabric is made? For thousands of years, yarns were made from natural fibers. Linen, older than history. Wool from the shepherd's flocks. Cotton, once known as king. And silk from the Orient. Then, in 1884, scientists succeeded in making an artificial silk out of cellulose fibers found in plants. Since silkworms eat mulberry leaves, early experimenters worked with mulberry leaves dissolved in acid to get the required cellulose. It worked, although nowadays we know that many other cellulose sources work even better. Artificial silk, later called rayon, was commercially produced in the United States in 1910, and a few years later, another fiber of modified cellulose was perfected and called acetate. These man-made materials are beautiful and versatile. They can be used by themselves, combined with natural fibers, or with other man-made fibers. But since they were developed from materials that were already in existence in nature, they represent just the beginning of the revolution in the world of textiles. The next great step was the result of 10 years of research in the science laboratories of DuPont. There, a great scientist, Dr. Wallace H. Carruthers, and his staff developed nylon, the world's first commercially useful synthetic fiber. Nylon, introduced to the public in 1938, is truly synthetic, a completely man-made fiber created from elements found in coal, air, and water. Its strong, tough, light fibers, the most versatile of all, can be made into the finest of threads and knitted or woven into fabrics as light and airy as thistledown. Yet, these gossamer fabrics are amazingly strong and wear-resistant. Properly made clothing of nylon will not shrink, nor will it stretch out of shape. It washes easily, dries quickly, and is very durable. And that's something to cheer about, especially when you lead an active, busy life up in front of the crowd and want to look your best all the time. Strength and lightweight make nylon appropriate for the roughest sports. And when it comes to staying in the game, nylon outwears them all. Although all nylon has the same general characteristics, there are several different types and modifications for special purposes. Stretch nylon, for example, is even more elastic and springy than regular nylon. In a knitted fabric, it provides improved stretchability and recovery. It makes clothing that clings to the figure adjust to the slightest movement. Stretch nylon can also be used in woven fabrics for comfort and freedom of action in many kinds of clothing. Woven stretch pants and ski clothing are built to give only where give is needed and are figure flattering in the highest degree. A type of nylon called 420 is made especially to give abrasion resistance to cotton and rayon play or work clothes and khakis. Clothing reinforced with this nylon has longer wear life. Another type of nylon called Antron has beautiful light reflecting qualities. Some fabrics of Antron have the deep luster of silk, feel of silk, drape of silk, yet have strength, toughness, and light weight. For all their delicate appearance, garments of Antron are very practical, resist wrinkling, and keep their shape. The first true synthetic fibers brought the dawn of a new age of textiles. This single outstanding invention pointed the way to all the other useful synthetic fibers we enjoy today. One of the most beautiful of these is an acrylic fiber called Orlon. It is chemically very different from nylon, yet it has many of the same modern easy care properties. Orlon has great versatility of feel, or hand as it is called. It is bulky, without unwanted weight, and never feels harsh or scratchy. In knits, it is washable without shrinking. It won't sag or stretch out of shape, and is luxuriously comfortable. In woven fabrics, Orlon dries quickly, resists wrinkles, stays fresh-looking, and holds pleats and creases. Garments of Orlon pack easily, travel well, and are almost always ready to wear as soon as they are unpacked. For the touch of wool, great springiness and high bulk, particularly in sweaters, two types of Orlon are combined. A sweater made of this special fiber combination will actually rejuvenate itself every time it's washed and dried. For the rich touch of wool in a sweater, or for the softness of fur in a coat or jacket, deep pile fabrics of Orlon, either knitted or woven, look like fur, feel like fur, and are delightfully warm. Unlike fur, they are unaffected by moths or mildew and are allergy-free. One of the most important synthetic fibers, Dacron polyester fiber, has an amazing ability to hang on to its resilience or springiness, wet or dry. It absorbs so little water, dries so quickly, that it bounces back to its original shape almost instantly. Now, let's try a little experiment. Dacron lends its bounce to other materials. These slacks of 55% Dacron and 45% wool worsted show what is meant by wrinkle recovery and crease retention. As you'd naturally expect, the trousers are all wrinkled and bagged out of shape. But in spite of the rough treatment, the original sharp crease is still there. As it dries, the fabric shakes off the wrinkles, regains its shape and spick and span appearance. In slacks, shirts, suits, ties, and sportswear, this crisp, springy, stretch-resistant fiber alone or with other fibers can help you keep neat at all times, under all conditions, and in any kind of weather. And for dresses, blouses, lingerie, and rainwear, help your clothes practically take care of themselves. Now for a swimming pool demonstration concerned with form. Diving form, that is, because everything else is under control by a swimsuit containing Lycra Spandex fiber. Lycra is an elastic textile fiber that has 2 to 4 times the breaking strength of natural elastic thread and up to twice the recovery power. Swimsuits powered by this synthetic elastic provide excellent form control without bulk, keep their shape when wet. They dry quickly and are very durable. Worn beneath any type of outerwear, foundation garments made with Lycra can be light, soft, and airy, yet with plenty of power to keep a rebellious figure under control. And while we're talking about figures, football pants containing Lycra Spandex yarns are good for extra points in flexibility, elasticity, and streamlined freedom of movement. We have seen some of the most important man-made fibers and their characteristics. With all the progress to date, there is more yet to come as continuing research develops new and even more useful modifications. Fibers made by man are being improved by man. One of the advantages of man-made fibers is that when they are properly blended with each other or with natural fibers, the resulting fabric has the best characteristics of each and sometimes offers entirely new benefits. For example, in a 65-35 blend of Dacron and cotton, Dacron contributes wrinkle recovery, shrink resistance, and crisp feel. The combination is economical and has outstanding wash and wear performance. In order to possess any certain characteristic, a fabric generally should contain a majority of the fiber with that characteristic. So, for example, if you're interested in top wrinkle recovery in a suit, the garment should contain at least 50% Dacron with wool worsted, or 65% Dacron with cotton or rayon. Another extremely popular blend for suits is 70% Orlon and 30% wool. The more you know about these textile fibers and what they can do for you, the better job you yourself can do in selecting a wardrobe that will fit your needs and give you the most pleasure, the most satisfaction for your money. Appropriateness carries all the way through, from style and color to fabric and fiber. There is no simple, easy way to make the best selection, so when you're buying, it pays to read the tags and to ask questions. In choosing a wardrobe that will give you the well-mannered look, it's important to keep in mind your own classroom, campus, and extracurricular activities. Do you, for example, have some subjects or classes that are unusually hard on clothes? Do you already have a basic wardrobe you like? Is there a group whose company you enjoy and whose standards match your own? Are you active in student life? Do you belong to a club or class organization or student government that keeps you on campus long hours? Or do you go directly from school to a part-time job where it is important that clothes stay neat and wrinkle-free? Will the clothes you wear all day in school still be fresh and smart-looking when you keep that very important date in the afternoon? Once you know what you want your wardrobe to do, you can decide on styles and colors you want according to your personal preference. Then, from the great variety of beautiful and useful fabrics that have the modern, easy care qualities you want built right into the yarns and the very fibers themselves, you can choose your wardrobe to suit the picture you have of yourself. And now, What about letting us take a look at the pictures you want your friends to see? In school, is this the self-portrait you've created? Or is there a smoother side to your personality? On campus, would a candid camera find you looking like this? Or would you prefer to have the photographer snap you when you're feeling more like yourself? Does anyone really want a picture of himself looking like this? But if you think this is silly, take a look at the outfit Grandpa wore back in the roaring 20s. He had to take 2 steps to move the cuffs of his trousers 1 step. Last but not least, do you keep small details from spoiling your picture? A hairstyle that doesn't fit your personality? Makeup that might look better on someone else? Sideburns that have a way of getting longer and longer? Of this you can be sure. If the picture you have of yourself is the kind that you want others to see, if it has the well-mannered look that helps you feel the way you want to feel, all that you can do to keep it that way will be well worthwhile. That picture is just about the most important thing you'll ever have.